Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Myself Zadnan, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can read the income statement of a company. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and before further ado, let's get to the video. If you're new to the investing world, understanding the financial of a company is very important because these statements tell you if the company is going to make profit or not. Let's head to the Yahoo Finance, and where I'm going to discuss AMD and how you can read these financial items. And in this video, I will discuss the income statement of a company. So on the Yahoo Finance, I'm going to search for AMD, which stands for Advanced Micro Devices. And here you will get the summary about the company, the current price, the market capital, EPS and PE ratio. If you want to learn more about it, I have already made a video. You can find the link under the description. In this video, I'm going to discuss the financials. And if you click on to this financial, the first would be the income statement. Before we go through one by one, first I want to tell you that all those numbers are in thousands. So although it looks 22 million, but it's 22 million into 1,000, which means it's $22 billion. And the last column always is the TTM, which stands for trailing 12 month, which means the last 12 months of company numbers. Here we will stick to 2021. And the first is the total revenue. Total revenue is the amount of dollar a company has generated by selling its product. In this case, AMD has produced $16 billion by selling its product. The second term is the cost of revenue. And this is the amount a company has spent in order to generate this amount. So a company has spent 8.5 billion in order to generate 16.4 billion, and gross profit of a company is just taking total revenue minus cost of revenue, and gross profit of a company ends up $7.9 billion. In order to calculate the gross profit margin, you can use a simple formula, which is gross profit divided by the total revenue into 100. So what we can do here is that we can take gross profit, which is 7,929, and we can divide this by total revenue, which is 16,434, and you would end up 0.482, and we can multiply by 100, and we will end up with the 48% of gross margin of a company. And the next term is the operating expenses. So operating expense is divided into three categories. One is the selling, general and administrative expenses. The second is research and development, and the other expenses. And first, if we look for the selling, general and administrative and definition, here you would see that this category is includes into the income statement, and this is the all general and administrative expenses, as well as the direct and indirect selling expenses of the business. So this column of the operating expenses is related to all the amount they spend for selling the product to the customers. And the second one is the research and development. And as a company, AMD, which has to spend a lot on research and development to improve its product year over year, they have spent around $2.84 billion in 2021. The other expenses the company has spent is around $12 million. So other expenses are also the overhead expenses, which mean that these are not specifically to the product or services, but this could be that they have, if you go into the detail, this could be that they have spent the amount on rent and utilities, administrative costs, and insurance, etc. So at the end of the day, the company has used $4.2 billion in the operating expenses, and this is one of the very important term. Normally, every company has more enough gross profit margin, but normally companies spend too much on the operating expenses. And what we see here that the company has spent 4.2 billion, and the operating income at the end of the day for AMD is around 3.6 billion. And this comes, you take gross profit minus operating expenses, and you end up with the operating income. So in order to take the operating margin, you can use the formula of operating income divided by the total revenue, and you can multiply by 100. So if we see here that, so we have to take the operating income, which is around 3648. We have to divide by the total revenue, which is 16434, and you will get the value of 0.22, and you can multiply by 100. So 22% is the operating margin of AMD, and normally 15% is considered as good, and above that is even better. So it means company is able to make a lot of income on its operation, which is a very good thing for any company. So next on the list is net non-operating interest expenses, and these two terms are these two expenses are not directly related to the core operation of the company. For example, here company being able to generate $8 million into the interest income. On the other side, they have to pay 34 million into the interest expenses. And this amount could be that company has to pay it on anything regarding loan, bond, or credit. So at the end of the day, the net non-operating interest are around $26 million. And next in the list, we have other income expenses. And this company has been able to generate $47 million. And this is earning from equity interest, and earning from equity interest is the amount company earn from investment, which is known as the equity from interest, and this amount is around $47 million. The next on the list is the other income expenses, and here there could be different numbers, and if you want to understand more in detail, you can go to the financial of AMD, and if you click on the financial table, you will see all the earning company has given for their investors. And here you can go through the list if you want to understand more in detail what kind of a non-operating expenses the company has. So company has been able to generate $47 million, and this actually came from earning from equity interest, and this is the amount company earned from investment. So company has invested probably in 2020, and they've been able to generate this $56 million of profit. So at the end of the day, company has $3.66 billion before paying the income tax. And this is simply from, you can take 3.6 billion of operating income, you can minus 26 billion, and by adding 47 billion, you will end up with 3.66 billion. After the tax of 513 million, the company end up with the net income of common stockholder, which is $3.16 billion, which is positive and which is very good thing. So this is normally when it comes to the income statement, you will see this term mostly used as a bottom line. And in the income statement, this is the top line, which gives us the total revenue 16 billion, and this is the bottom line, we would say, is the $3.16 billion. So these are the terms which are not very that's important to discuss, but what we understand that at the end of the day, company has generated positive net income by generating revenue of $16 billion. So at the end of the day, what do you have to consider when you want to invest into a company? First of all, you have to see that the total revenue of a company is increasing year over year, and that's what we see here for AMD, that in 2018 the revenue was 6.4 billion, then in 2019 6.7, 9.7, and then after 2021, as we know, the semiconductor market has been given a lot of subsidy from the government, and AMD has been able to generate a lot of revenue, and as you can see, they have almost doubled their revenue in 2021. So this is a very good thing that the revenue of a company is generating, is increasing year over year, and also their gross profit is also increasing, and most importantly, and their operating income is also increasing very high year over year. Based on all these terms, the income statement of a company looks very good. They're increasing the revenue, their gross profit is increasing, and also their operating income is increasing. Let's say this is an income statement of an average company. Let me show you, it might not everybody would agree with this, but let me show you an example of Uber, whose income statement doesn't look as good as you have seen on this AMD. So if you go into the financial income statement, you would see that the total revenue of Uber is increasing from 2018 to 2019. Then there was a drop because of COVID. Then their revenue got increase again. And in last 2022 trailing 12 months, you can see the revenue is 29 billion. They are generating gross profit margin, you can see, but at the end of the day, they are putting too much money onto their operating expenses, and as you can see that they are losing money on their operation. And every year you can see 3 billion, 9 billion, 4 billion, 3 billion, and even in last 12 months they're losing money on their operation, and minus 2.2 billion is going through the pocket of investor. So this is not the kind of company I would probably go for, and because the financial of the company doesn't look good. On the other side, let me show you the best, one of the best company income statement, and that is Google. If you go into the financial, and here you would see these numbers just looks too good. And in 2018, they have $136 billion of revenue. And as you can see, in trailing 12 months, this amount is more than doubled. They have the total revenue of 282 billion. They have gross profit margin increasing year over year. And also the operating income is also increasing year over year. And I would say this is the kind of a company, and if you're looking to invest for the long term, I would bet on the Google, then let's say Uber. So this is an example of a very, very good company income statement. So I hope this video was more helpful and you have understand about how you can read the financial or the income statement of a company, and you can make a better decision. But as I said, this is only the first part, income statement. The other financials or the cash flow and the balance sheet of a company, which tells you how much cash a company has and what are the chances they are going to grow in the next coming year. So if you stick to the end of the video, I would highly ask you to like this video and subscribe to channel would be great. Myself is Adnan, and I will see you in the next one.